Nick R and BigKukuRUzina are gonna have axe. Now that is something special. We're gonna see some Syndicate here. Line pockets, but Jackpot is. We're gonna see some Syndicate here. Also, for a reason, you got to bring 4 decks, and there are certainly better choices. But seeing monsters in the tournament is going to be great, and we're going to see that right out of the box. As BigKukuRUzina is going to lean on that red coin with so much potential power coming through. As Nick R is going to bring that Reckless Flurry list, the Madoc list, and those Witchers. We're going to toss away the fish. I almost said it. I almost said it. Flappers. We'll just call it Flappers. Perfect. I mean, there's a mature rating on the game, right? I could potentially kind of drop a colorful 4-letter word every now and then, but it happens nonetheless. Yeah, I mean, this should be an interesting one purely off the fact that BigKukuRUzina is going to be hunting for that Sabbath, whereas Nick R is basically doing damage over and over and over again. So it could be difficult for KukuRUzina to go ahead and secure the Sabbath.
No, exactly like you said. I mean, I think maybe one of the reasons why we're seeing Skellige being queued up on blue coin here, which has been so far not the case in the tournament, is because possibly Nick was expecting this monsters being played on red and wants to get maybe what he thinks is a favorable matchup with the Skellige list being able to remove so much power from his opponent's side of the board that KukuRUzina might not even be able to get Sabbath for a while.
It's gonna take some work to do it. It's gonna take a long round to secure it. Not to mention Nick R is holding on to some big cards there. Cards like Yalmar, but you got to load up the graveyard obviously for that. But a card like Heatwave is just point click delete when it comes to those nasty cards. We're gonna immediately take use of that Northern Wind. I don't think there's any major targets that Northern Wind's gonna look to hit. Other than just, you know, get rid of a potential Thrive engine right out of the box. And, yeah, fix our hand a little bit, and that's a big pickup with that Quen.
Yeah, he played Maxi on turn 1, looked at his deck order, was satisfied with it. Oh, and also uses the leader charge on blue coin. You know, sometimes we see the leader charge being played by Reckless Flurry on red coin to answer threats and to get additional tempo to threaten to win on even. But on blue coin, it is much bigger of a commitment. But respecting that Endrigo Larva's Thrive, potentially going to be like 7-8 points, maybe, yeah, maybe even more. So just going to spend a leader charge here. Nick R might need to be careful not to overcommit. We'll see how both players play this round. But for now, KukuRUzina, nothing on the board yet.
No, nothing on the board yet. This might be a situation, depending on how this plays out. I mean, it's gonna be tough if you're Big K. Like, you don't want to just toss out big cards. Like, for instance, even Ratcatcherus with something like your leader charges, it just compounds on how nasty that can be against that card without Sabbath. So Ownermancing into perhaps a defender here could be okay, unless he's looking to maybe just get out of the round. Okay, I see. So Brewis is here. It's playing the Brewis right out of the box also gives you a chance to go ahead and basically follow up with the best card in the history of Gwent, which is the Archaspore, to go ahead and get a thinning play as necessary. Plus playing that card right now also allows you to improve the remainder of your Crones down the line.
Yeah, Larry the Archaspore is gonna get his moment to shine. I would assume very soon, if not, yeah, that should probably be now, because this Brewis is at risk of dying if he still waits another turn, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you got to go ahead and get it while it's done here, and you're going to have to play a card. I mean, you're at 8 cards, so Archaspore is going to come through, the best plant that has ever been. You know, we need support for the plant, the plant archetype, and as far as I know, Dagon is not a plant. And Dagon's not even coming, so it's not. I don't know what you're talking. Dagon's not a card. It's never going to be a card. So
okay, very interesting strategy by Nick here. He actually spends a leader charge on blue, but then passes at 7 cards. And I think what he's trying to do here, by spending the leader charge, he's denying Kuku from being able to get Sabbath very quickly. So if he wants to play She Who Knows right now, there's not enough points on that row. There's only 20 points on that row with the She Who Knows, and Sabbath needs 25, so She Who Knows would not give herself resilience. If Nick R had not used that leader charge, for example, that Endriga Larva would have gotten to 5 points, and that would have been the difference. That would have gotten exactly to Sabbath activation. So now Kuku has a tough, is in a kind of a tough situation. He's going to win the round. It's not going to cost him that much, but he's not going to have carryover from round 1 to round 2. And he's going to have to play that She Who Knows in round 2, which might then get heat waved afterwards.
No,
with this line, Nick has prevented the She Who Knows from being played after he passes.
No, you're damn right about that. And that initial usage of that leader charge in a round that you end up losing, you'd think that might be bad, but the fact is you're correct, because that Endriga Larvae would have been a 3, then a 4, then a 5, giving you 25 off of that last play, meaning that BigKukuRUzina goes into the next round with a 10 on the board and a bunch of cards to play with to maintain that Sabbath. So it worked out beautifully in that case. And now the difference is that BigKukuRUzina's got a nice round to bleed with, and if he can protect properly, he does have the troll there. The cave troll is there as a defender, and if you can time this correctly, if you could put enough pressure where maybe you're forcing Nick R to use the heat wave on the defender, then maybe you can sneak in that She Who Knows late into the round to go into a short round 3 with a 10 spot on the board right out of the box. That's a pretty decent way to do it. Not to mention you have Karanthir and Koshé ready to go. Like those, and your leader ability. Like those are 1-2 punch is, I don't want to say good enough, but those are 2 cards plus 1 on top of that can make a round 3 really nasty to deal with.
Yeah, and here we are. I think it's a pretty classic matchup between the monster deck, which is kind of like trying to throw out questions against the control deck. Do you have an answer for this? Do you have an answer for this, right? And the control deck, Skellige here, needs to kind of match up their potential answers with the monster threats. So you've got Koshé number 1, Koshé number 2. You've got maybe a Witch Apprentice. You've got Defender. Notably, Nick's version doesn't run the Purify Bomb. There's no Moon Dust, and there's also no Axii to get through the Defender. So you're going to have to find another way through that Defender, whether that's like Hjalmar plus Leader Charge, or maybe Leader Charge plus Junod. You're going to have to figure out a cheaper way to get through it than Heat Waving, because I think Heat Wave needs to be reserved for something else.
If I'm Nick here, I'm thinking maybe I would have tossed out that Greatsword, because it's an immediate usage of your Hjalmar, right? Like you want, I feel like you want to load up the graveyard here so that you can go ahead and Hjalmar the Defender away. Like I think that might be clutch. Depends. I mean, because at the same time, the Defender comes out as a 7 with 4 armor.
Yeah.
You use 1 leader charge, which brings it down to 4 plus 4 armor, so you can Hjalmar the Bear Witcher away to kill it. That's one way to do it, which opens up the board to interact with after the fact. So these are all thoughts.
You could do that.
That can work out. I mean, it's a possibility.
I think.
Also, I was gonna say,
yeah,
one thing is that if you had the Diameridium Bomb, which gives Veil to a unit, had you used that against the She Who Knows, the She Who Knows would have tried to give itself resilience and it would have failed. That would have been a pretty cheeky play as well.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so looking at Nick R's deck, what's left in there for Quen targets are Bear Witcher and Junod. I think normally you see Quen go for Bear Witcher as a 13 tempo play, utilizing that shield to prevent the 3 self-damage. But in this case, I think he's going to want to take the Junod instead, because I think he's really going to need all the removal he can get. Junod is actually a great answer to something like the Karanthir Koshé, because it comes out damaged already, so you don't need to even worry about using your leader charge to set it up.
That's exactly right. I mean, there are fat targets on there. Like if you could get the Rat Catcheress as she grows, you can catch the She Who Knows as a 10-point play. But if you're doing this and you're thinking about value over time, if you're doing the math in your head, crushing one of those damaged Koshés at 2, that might prove to be the better option down the road. And without, here in round 3, She Who Knows has kind of lost a little bit of the luster and that ability of giving resilience from round to round, and you just kind of open up with a big play and start sort of pounding a little bit of those bombs out, get the Madoc going, and Madoc just never seems to behave the way that you want Madoc to behave.
So this is typically not how you want your She Who Knows to be used. Playing She Who Knows as just a 10-point card in round 3 is not very good usage of her 13 provisions, but at the same time, this Force of Nature monster deck has a very big threat in a long round 3 with the Kashes, with the double Kashes. Question is Nick going to have enough control to answer it? And let's see how this plays out. And Nick, his credits goes to Nick for neutralizing the potency of She Who Knows in that round 1 by playing the way he did. I think it really goes to show how much he's practiced this matchup and knows exactly which line he wants to go for.
That's right. You take the pass where necessary. You kind of just walk away from it. You don't give it the value that it seeks, right? You make it very, very annoying and expensive for it to go. And that's a fun way to use that lock. And now there's not a whole lot of things that you may want to lock, perhaps one of the greatswords, but the fact that there's no more bombs in Nick R's hand, that Maddock just ate a lock that otherwise it wouldn't have been problematic with. And what's interesting here is the fact that he put the Doragary in the back row, which it kind of takes away from a potential Sabbath, which you kind of want with your Ratcatcherist perhaps to not get sort of pummeled.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You do want to get the Sabbath going, but you also have to keep an eye on like your row placements, knowing that your potential Kashes might end up filling your rows. So that is something that's definitely going through KukuRUzina's head. And we see the Heat Wave now on the first Greatsword, trying to deny the Megascope target, and then the second one comes right back. And all leader charges have been used now for Nick, kind of keeping KukuRUzina's board at a low power level, taking longer yet again to get to that Sabbath 25. And how is KukuRUzina going to deal with this Greatsword?
No Witch Apprentices out of BigKukuRUzina. In terms of engine pieces, it's all going to come down to those Koshes and what those Koshes can do. However, Nick R doesn't have engines. You know, Nick R doesn't necessarily have anything that's going to generate points over time. It's basically, you slam the card on the board and that's what you get, face value. I mean, besides flipping the Fanatics with the Totem, you're not getting a whole lot beyond that. And it seems like if you're looking to pick up points, I mean, and you're going to have to get around, first of all, you're going to have to get around that Defender, which looks like KukuRUzina is kind of tickling a little bit over there and playing with the idea of establishing that. But the cards that KukuRUzina has are just enormous. You have an Owneromancy as well to go find that last Crone, which is going to be a boost or damage by 6, depending on what the order that they're playing. But here comes the first Cave Troll, and without any more leader charges, you're just going to have to expend the Heat Wave there to get access to the scarier cards.
Yeah, and Nick with a pretty big lead of 22 points right now. He is down a card, down a leader, so there is definitely plenty of ways for KukuRUzina to catch up. He's got a full gold hand, trying to decide how he wants to sequence. At 5 cards, this is when the Adrenaline 4 of Kashe has been activated, so she will start spawning Endriga larvas instead of drones every time she thrives. So this is typically where you see the Caranthir into Kashe come down, but will he pair it with the leader, or will he wait for the second Kashe?
Now catch this. A lot of the cards that Nick R wants to play, like for instance, you do not want your Megascope or your Totem as your last card, because you're losing value. You don't have time to make him happen. But if Nick R is going to be forced into making reactive plays, for instance, in this case, you play your Quen to get Junod to kill that Koshe. Then next turn, you use your Yalmar to kill the next Koshe. Then suddenly, you're stuck with both those cards because one of them is not going to get full value.
That's a really good point. And so probably what will end up happening is the Totem is going to lose 4 points by being played last. You would lose 10 points if you played the Megascope last, because it would just get you nothing. So that's kind of the sacrifice Nick has to make here in order to answer both of these Kashes. And I think he could have, if he looked really far ahead, maybe he could have seen this coming and saved the Gird for last, because I think you lose fewer than 4 points playing Gerd last than the way he did. I think he only got 2 extra points playing Gerd. So we'll see if those 2 points of difference actually ends up mattering. But that is a really good observation you made there, Flip.
Well, the thing now is going to be the fact that if Nick R, or if Big KK doesn't play that, does not play the Koshie, which we see now is what the case is. But if Nick R had that breathing room, he could have established one of those 2 cards. But now I feel like Nick R has to go ahead and answer that Koshie, because that Koshie is going to trigger at least 2 more times unless it's answered right now, and that could spell the difference here. And Nick R has cultivated a pretty big lead, but as you see right now, Koshie into leader has, you know, just shaved away a lot of that. And here it is. This is exactly what I was mentioning, right? It's the fact that now you have 2 cards that are going to miss out on value. So you have to go Megascope, and then you have to go Totem. But that, like you said, you're leaving 4 points on the table, and that could be the difference here.
Yeah, Kuku has Ratcatcheress and probably 2 huge Crones coming up, right? So that is a pretty strong finishing move, and he has the 2 larvas as well. Each larva was spawned from the corresponding Koshie, so despite the Koshies getting answered immediately, they are leaving behind a legacy of like 5 plus 6, so 11 points that, you know, Nick R wasn't able to answer even though he removed the caution.
Well, we're gonna see when the chips are down just how much differential. I don't see Nick coming back from here purely off the fact that both Crones are massive. You got a 10-point and 12-point Crone, and is that enough? And the
thriving,
1 Thrive trigger as well. Sorry,
and then the Ratcatcheress as well.
Oh,
Ratcatcheress also strengthens herself when you play Relics. So
that's
I think
correct.
That's a lot of bonus points that Kuku has that you don't really see very apparently right away on the board. And the score is, it says 3 points right now. There's 10 coming from the Greatsword on the Megascope, right? So Nick's up 13. Kuku is thinking about it. He's going to play Weavis first and then leave himself the option of playing whatever he wants from the Oniromancy. It could be the Wispus. We see the totem come down, losing the 4 points by not having the order.
And yeah, the Crone's going to do it over here.
Crone's going to be more than enough.
Yeah, that's going to do, that's 12 points plus 1 extra Thrive and the Ratcatcheress bonus, 14 points from the Wispus. Going to go ahead and make it real clean and cut. Now, 4 points wasn't actually be their quote-unquote weakest list. That might be a cause for concern, but still, I mean, we saw that happen in Game 1. Red Rain got a quick and easy win. I say easy, but a quick and swift win with that Scoia'tael list, and then it came down to 5 games, and it didn't manage to convert. Nonetheless, in this case, letting the monster list go, you know, potentially the only monster list of the tournament, and seeing that one just go through willy-nilly in the first game, I mean, we'll see how it shakes out. Again, there's a reason why this is a best of 5. You know, these games need to happen. And line pockets versus pincer maneuver. You know, line pockets was once the talk of the town when it came down to just overpowered decks and drills and such. But this is kind of a new, you know, a revamped version of line pockets.
Exactly. We see non-devotion version, which is a pretty uncommon, I'd say, when it comes to Syndicate these days, with Horson Jr. being such a strong devotion card. But let's see how Nick R plays this. I'm actually kind of curious because, like, I don't think we'll get that many chances to see Syndicate games this weekend. And here might be a rare treat for us. Let's see how Iluxa decides to approach this as he opens up on blue coin with his pincer maneuver siege full test deck.
Nick R's lineup with line pockets is not running Gord, which was a mainstay staple of what line pockets used to be. It used to kind of be like that same type of Scoia'tael list that ran a lot of special cards to really like supercharge a Gord, and you drop that late. Whereas Scoia'tael would kind of boost their own side of the board and play a couple removals. You know, on the other side, the Syndicate version was more of a control-oriented version. Yeah, you'd go wide with Cleaver and such, and spend your coins wisely with the Tunnel Drill, but ultimately you were kind of working towards a supercharged Gord as a late-game potential as well. But in this case, this line pockets list and most of these Syndicate lists have kind of just put Gord by the wayside. And again, the new identity, the DNA of line pockets is kind of mutated a little bit here to include and non-devotion, no more Horson. Cards like the Professor and Witchfinder are in there. No more Gord in favor of something like Horson's Freak Show. The Safe Crackers are gone. So a big shakeup in terms of the identity of what Line Pockets is.
Yeah, and this Nick R's version of Line Pockets just wants to go brrr twice. Once with the drill and once with the Freak Show, and clearing a lot of threats every time you play them. Because, all right, you gotta expect your opponent to be answering your drill or your Freak Show on the turn that you play it. So you want to build up a lot of coins, and you want to get massive impact on the turn that they're played, because they're probably going to get answered.
So the drill, I mean, I can hear a drill going brrr, but what would a Horson's Freak Show sound like? It'd be like tee hee hee, tee hee hee hee. Like, I'm trying to think about what it was.
Not as impactful or iconic.
Yeah, it's not as menacing and sort of dangerous sounding as a drill would be, but I mean, like, it's not just one clown, it's the whole freaking circus, right? It's the Freak Show. Like, it's the whole team. So they're all just kind of giggling and just making your day awful here. But yeah, but you're right, because there's cards like Tunnel Drill are probably going to want to be paired up with Cleaver and creating that pocket for it, whereas Freak Show is likely going to be a target of opportunity in terms of when it's dropped to go ahead and just clean up what the mess that's in front of it. So, both. But control is kind of the name of the game with this list.
Yeah, exactly. Both players just playing bronzes here. Nick R thinning out the Flying Redanian, getting some coin carryover, and just passing, giving up the round control over to Big Kuku. And let's see what Big Kuku can do. I don't think Kuku wants to go into a long round 3. I think he's going to want to push a little bit and try to split up some of these, crown splitters potentially. If you can get rid of Cleaver and Justice, then Tunnel Drill could be neutered in round 3. But the last mulligan top deck into Hubert is really going to put the brakes on any sort of push that Kuku might have had in mind for this round.
Oh, that's the beauty of pincer maneuver, right? You can just toss that mofo right back into the pile, to say it politely. But yeah, that's part of it, right? You got to draw a card, you shuffle a card.
You're so right. Like,
that is the beauty of it.
Immediately, you see the upside of pincer maneuver, allowing you to take the greedy mulligans. If you were not pincer maneuver here, you would be stuck into kind of passing into round 3.
And kablam. And this is what you talked about earlier, right? Is the fact that Siege likes to go first, but it's going to eat a heat wave right out of the box, just like that.
Yeah, Siege gets heat waved, but the reinforced trebuchet remains, but it will probably get removed pretty soon. And we need a proactive play from Big Kuku. He's gonna Dahlia and get a reinforced ballista. Very annoying with the shield, tough to remove there. So Nick's gonna go with the poison option instead. Has the follow up in his hand as well through that traffic.
Now you are at 7. Kuku is at 7, so he can just kind of pull the shoot on this and go into round 3 for a long round. But I feel like with a setup like this, maybe you just call the bluff and say, yeah, you don't think you have that poison. Like, you may be able to just kind of go forth here. If you're putting them on the biggest tempo play that they can make from a poison perspective, it's going to be the 3 from the Trafficker eating the 5. It's an 8-point differential. You're still ahead. Plus your Trebuchet also gets another shot off at the Flying Redanian in the back row. So you can actually kind of play another card and kind of test the waters here a little bit more if necessary. Maybe you play that Carrick Marine and you see what's up, but you're well ahead here. But you have, like you said, you haven't seen anything, right? All those big cards, Shinmiri, are still threatening. They're still looming.
Yeah, even if Nick R has to go down a card here, if he's able to save his big threats, his big combos, I think he's still going to be favored despite being a card down in round 3. So I think Iluha's making the right decision here to continue pushing. Nick wisely removing these ballistas, because we know that ballistas are probably one of the biggest threats, long round threats in this deck. And I like the fact of using the Payday first before playing the Trafficker, because it gives Iluha or Kuku nothing to hit. Whereas the Trafficker would have put a 3-point body and given him something to hit in this turn.
No, definitely. The fact is that you're just saying, all right, well, if you want to kill my boat, I'm just going to play something that doesn't require any, any spending. and then the boat comes back. That's the beauty of that card. That's why it's such a big target for Northern Wind. You know, to go ahead and eat it up. It's the bane of Keltulis is a ghost ship most of the times. But yeah, as we see here, BigKukuRUzina hasn't really committed much beyond a Dahlia, given the fact that Siege has already been eaten. Your other big cards that you're going to potentially lean on are Gerhardt. I mean, Bloody Baron is going to be a tough choice because I feel like a lot of the spending that Nick's going to do is going to be on KukuRUzina's side of the board.
Yeah, ooh, the Flying Redanian comes back onto the range row and is going to get shot down by this Trebuchet again, but might come back a second time. Who knows? For Baron, though.
That Captain America kind of like, I can do this all day type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. For Baron, though, as you were mentioning, I think the best target might be Cleaver. Cleaver starts at 1 base strength and does tend to boost himself. Nick would need to boost the Cleaver in order to save it from something like Boiling Oil or...
Well, how are you going to boost it? Because there's no more armor, so it boosts up to 5.
Well, you could set up something like Justice first before you play... Like, you could go Furco into Justice into a Crown Splitter before you play the Cleaver.
But doesn't it boost up? It boosts up by...
It would be 5 only if it has no adjacent Crown Splitters when you play it. But if you play it with Crown Splitters, it will intimidate more than 1. It intimidates, increases Intimidate by 1 for each adjacent Crown Splitter. So it would go up to a 7 if he plays it next. Yeah, right. There's no Regret Injustice into the Blacksmith Spender, which can also be used to protect your engines and your threats like Horson's Freak Show or Tunnel Drill. You could boost up the Tunnel Drill up from 5 as well so that it doesn't die to Boiling Oil.
Now check this out. This Boiling Oil is going to take that shield right out of existence.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
Might have been maybe a little bit more worthwhile to put that to the left of Furco.
Possibly. This shield, yeah.
Because you can follow up, but I mean, even after that, you can, with the shield gone, your Foltest Pride has some clean hits. And you can also follow up with the other Boiling Oil to just break up the pocket entirely.
So Nick R is going to take his Crown Splitter pocket while he has it. Tunnel Drill coming down. How many coins is he going to use? Kills the Foltest Pride. Has 3 more coins left, which is means 1 spend for 3 damage, but he has that flexible Line Pockets leader with 6 coins left in the bank. Potentially could shoot like a few more times and decides actually to hold even the 3 coins.
I mean, this feels like you just go ahead. Yeah. Like, do you not just use your Boiling Oil here to just get it out? I mean, you're already down a card. Holding on to Boiling Oil doesn't feel like it's that big of a deal. Mind you, then again, Nick R's is going to respond with Payday on the back row. So, or even on something small just to get some coins in the bank.
I wonder how much mind games is involved here, because Nick R not spending that many coins with the Tunnel Drill kind of implies that he has like a Freak Show or some other backup spender in his hand should this drill get killed. Kuku is probably considering that, but decides that the Boiling Oil opportunity is too juicy to pass up, still has to take it. And just like you said, Nick R quickly responds with the Payday, still remaining 1 point ahead. Doesn't have the 9 coins yet to get the Flying Redanian back, though, so maybe he can't do it all day.
This is going to be tough for KukuRUzina. Again, the fact that you're just ahead by... Nick R is ahead by 1. Day late, a buck short for Kuku, but he is ahead by a round. So at the end of the day, the question is which one of these cards is going to buy what card from your opponent? And what are you looking to get out of here? Given the fact that you haven't seen, you know, trying to take a look here, Nick R's list still runs Moriels. You still got the Cleaver, obviously Professor, Witchfinder. There's some, the Freak Show. There's some big guns in there. But that's a nice usage right there with the Gerhardt, you know, Hubert coming in to play. Again, that card was rescued by the pincer maneuver ability, being able to go ahead and recycle that back. So that extra 5 points puts him well ahead, given the fact that
was a huge tempo play. 18 tempo or 18 points in 1 turn there with the Gerhardt plus the Hubert. And now Nick R needs 18 of his own if he wants to stay ahead and keep his card advantage for round 3. How are you going to do that? Maybe with the Cleaver plus... I think Cleaver plus leader charges could do it.
It's possible. The question is,
you would have to use a lot.
Well, is that better than Cleaver and then using Bank, let's say, and hanging on to your Bank with your Horson, with your Freak Show? That might be an option as well.
Most of the time, you're going to want to save Bank for round 3 to get you a gold that you missed, that you didn't naturally draw into. I hate, when I play Syndicate with Bank, I hate using Bank before round 3, because it just means that you're much more likely to not be able to access the gold that you don't draw into. And he does, in fact, use 4 leader charges, I think it was, to get an extra Cleaver's muscle from the Cleaver spending just to get ahead. And he was 1 point short from being able to save those 4 leader charges.
Now, this is a situation where I don't know where Big K is going to find value with that Bloody Baron, given the fact that there's no Shock. The only other spender, frankly, is Sea Jackal, but you haven't. But a lot of those coins have already been used out of the bank, as you mentioned. There's no city in this list either, so
you're not going to have last say either. If you pass here, you're not going to have last say. So Baron's really just not going to have anything to reset. You got to play it here.
Yeah, and that's what happens. Plays it. Now it's an 8-point deficit over here, and Horson's Freak Show is not enough. So Horson's Freak Show is 8 points. So that is exactly enough if you use your 2 leader abilities.
Exactly. So you could use your 2 leader abilities, or you could go for Bank for something a little bit more impactful. You could roll the dice. So Horson's Freak Show is a pretty key part of Nick's strategy, especially if he's going to draw into something like Witchfinder in round 3, right? Because, or Kurt even. Kurt with the bounty, anything that gives bounty, Horson's Freak Show is your #1 way to extract and harvest those bounties. So Nick does go for it. He can get Mariel's. Mariel's is 8 points, even if you don't.
That is 8 points, and you're going to get a couple of coins at the bank as well. That will do it.
All right, so there's the flexibility of Mariel's, not having to take the tribute. You can just play it for 8 if you want to, and that is exactly enough. So Nick R keeps his card advantage, has to expend the bank, and is hoping to draw into some good golds in round 3 to complement his Horson's Freak Show.
I gotta say, now, Horson's Freak Show was a sure thing, right? That was a sure thing for 8. Give my regards to Nick R's balls on that play, because you're rolling the dice and looking at 4 cards, and if one of them whiffs, then you're going down 2 cards, and you've basically, you know, you've blown your load just to get ahead. But in this case, Shawnee, great card to have over here.
Oh, the second dumb banner.
Oh, hold on a second. We got another pincer maneuver. So it looks like full test might be what comes out here, if it survives.
Man, imagine if this game was not being played with pincer maneuver. How devastating these mulligans would have been. And this is a huge save. If anybody doubted pincer maneuver, like, this game should be like the advertisement to play pincer maneuver.
It has saved the day. I mean, a lot of players have sort of migrated to Inspired Zeal. You know, it does help out with a lot of the control elements regarding things like Selkirk and Anseus. But in this case, I mean, if you have just been mired in bad luck, we're going to see what he picks up. I feel like picking up a full test here might be the more greedy of plays. But the problem is you're facing down a Witchfinder. Or, sorry, you're facing down a Witchfinder, which is going to not only slam down the the bounty, but it's giving you 3 coins in your pocket for even further nastiness. And I mean, Nick R's hand is all control here, and it's control with bounty ability and recovering, and that Horson's Freak Show is gonna have itself one hell of a circus party.
Kuku decides not to take the full test, expecting the full test really not to do too much and probably die. So takes the amphibious assault instead. Gets an order booster for thinning out these done banners. And now you have to make a decision. So Mariel's is gone. There's no Graydon in Nick's syndicate list. Kuku can decide, maybe if I can get this bounty unit tall enough, maybe there won't be enough damage to actually kill it.
Yeah, you can go ahead and Shawnee and pick up one of those Marines, right? A Marine would put it a little bit over the top, but is that enough?
13? 13. We can see Nick R has 4 coins plus the 3 on the board. That's 7.
7. Bloody Good's another 4, which gives another coin on top
4,
of that.
Which is 11, 12. And then Professor can deal 4 damage. So it eventually will die. It won't die this turn, I don't think. But I think over the 2 turns, Nick R should be able to collect on the bounty. But by boosting the Radovid's Royal Guard to 13 and preventing it from dying this turn, he's mitigating the Witchfinder from finding a second target.
I think what you do here is you use the Professor on a smaller target first, and then at the end of the turn, the Witchfinder is going to reapply the bounty to the tall target, and you'll have more coins in the bank. I
think if you do that, will you have enough coins afterwards?
You should,
Professor will give you 3, right?
Yes,
or maybe you Professor the Shawnee.
You could Professor the Shawnee, but that's... Yeah, okay, so that's what's going on here. You complete with that. Now you're up to 5. That's going to go through, thin out, 26
Yeah, that's going to be enough. It's going to be enough, because you bloody good fun to get to do the 9 damage, and then you still have 6 coins left over. You're going to be able to collect on that bounty, and it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because Nick R takes it for BigKukuRUzina versus Inspired Zeal Commandos for Nick R.
This Inspired Zeal is it's not running Siege, right? So you're gonna have a lot more provision space to do some more naughty things. Stuff like Owneromancy is in there as well, but you're gonna have to pay for cards like Roche Merciless, obviously, Erland, King Foltest. But some of the key elements to this deck are things like Karathi Heatwave and Curse of Corruption. These are cards that are going to be there to, you know, just take out the big boys. And then you have double Dimeridium Bomb and double Boiling Oil. You got a Peller in there to get through defenders if they're a problem. Again, this deck is doing 2 things. It's stomping on your game plan with these elements of control, plus it's going to just go ahead and create that gigantic army of commandos. And the amount of commandos that you're gonna see, I mean, look, there's no Dun Banner in here, but there's a Foltest. So Foltest is going to look to create commandos. You also have the double Blue Stripe Scouts. You also have the reinforcements to potentially make another Blue Stripe Scout to clone another Blue Stripe Commando. But you also have 2 Megascopes. How many freaking commandos do you need, man? Like, let's be satisfied with like 40. You're like going for like 168. Like, that's way too many commandos.
I think you can get like 9 commandos at least, if not more. I think 10. So if Foltest only copies once, I think you can get a total of 10 commandos. And if Foltest doesn't get answered, I mean, who knows? You fill the both rows with commandos with that siege ladder. So I think Nick R's game plan here is going to be to try to win round 1 while copying a lot of commandos and have as short of a round 3 as possible, so that no matter how many good cards or how much card advantage BigKukuRUzina has over Nick R, he can just win with like that 35-40 point slam in round 3.
All right, now yesterday when we were talking about how this deck is going to operate, we mentioned about how it's likely going to be the fact that there's no Deltkirk or Anseus. Those Inspired Zeal charges are purely there to support your commando strategy. So you're going to be seeing just a naked commando with an Inspired Zeal charge to put out 2 bodies. Now, if the one with the order is answered, it doesn't matter, right? Because you're still going to be cloning the body and loading up the deck with them to bring out later on down the road. Not to mention, you have the Cursed Scroll to go pick up what you need. But already, out of the box, we're seeing some of those control elements, the cloning mechanisms as well. I mean, double Megascope and reinforcements and a Blue Stripe Scout. It's like, dear God, man.
Yeah, dear God. There's going to be a lot. And there's still the Cursed Scroll unused right now for Nick R. He could go and take a Foltest. He could go and take a Commando or a Roach Merciless after he copies one. There are a lot of options here for Nick R as he holds this Cursed Scroll order ability. And yeah, depending on like how many answers BigKukuRUzina is willing to invest in this round, he could take a different route with his Cursed Scroll. Rothen's going to come
be
down.
There right now. I guess it's going to be the Mauler unless you want to create some commandos of your own.
No, okay. BigKukuRUzina's getting a little bit fancy here, copying a commando. This is telegraphing that maybe BigKukuRUzina wants to do what Nilfgaard does best and play your strategy alongside you while answering your threats with lock. They'll play your own threats against you. So maybe BigKukuRUzina has a way that he will start copying these commandos as well. We see this actual informant in his hand could copy that scout right now if he wants to, could invocate something like Voltest should that come out eventually.
Now, fun move to make here. Let's say Voltest does go ahead and support and wedge itself between those two commandos to create more. Just follow up with one of your Duchess informants and just slam it right next to that Voltest, right? And then the Voltest is going to be cloning those spies for your deck, for its deck, which kind of breaks that up. I've done that before, and it's pretty fun. It is a nice little tech choice. Again, these spies, as cool as they are in terms of cloning your opponent's abilities, breaking up pockets and disrupting that kind of lineup synergy that you're looking for is also very, very potent.
Indeed. And we do see that Blue Stripe Scout's getting copied, and now BigKukuRUzina has 2 commandos of his own. And if Voltest does get played, I think Kuku could also use a leader charge on it, lock it, set it down to 6 strength, and then coup de grace to get his own Voltest. Answers the Voltest and gets his own Voltest at the same time. So Nick is going to use the Curse Scroll, pick up the Oniromancy, throw the second Megascope away, maybe deeming it as a little bit too low of a tempo play, and going to have the Oniromancy to get something like Voltest or Amphibious Assault.
I mean, hitting the Oniromancy into Amphibious Assault really fixes your draws for next turn, right? Because then you're picking up Oniromancy and Amphibious Assault on your next round. I feel like, as silly as it sounds, it's just tutoring with extra steps. But it's the fact that Echo is a thing makes it quite important there. And that goes ahead and loses a little bit of value. But we're gonna go ahead and there's the reinforcements again. More freaking commandos. As another one's gonna shoot out of the Megascope as well. You're still a little bit short here, but this is a tough spot. I mean, even with a leader charge, you're still behind.
Nick is... I don't think Nick cares that much about card advantage. He just wants to win the round and then go to a short round 3 if possible. He's got 5 commandos right now, and that's not even counting the Roach Merciless. Roach Merciless will get you like 10 more points on top of that as well.
I want to know what the record is for commandos in a game in a non-mirror. That's what I want to know. I'm really curious to see, in a non-Northern Realms mirror, what is the most commandos that have ever been, just produced or shown in a game, because Kuku has made his own now. He's got 2 of his own. Curious to know if he'll ever consider making more, because you can coup de grace the Duchess Informant for another. You can make another Blue Stripe Scout and go ahead and pull off some more points there. Another 8-point swing.
So Nick is repeatedly, not getting ahead just after playing his card. Kuku being offered a pass after a pass, but not taking it either. Both players understand the importance of winning this round and being able to force your opponent to go to either a short or long round 3, or being able to bleed out the second instance of commandos if Kuku does win this round 1. So I really like, the fact that both players aren't giving up very easily here. It's on Kuku now. What does he play? He could play a Cupbearer as like a waiting game, maybe set up a target for Vincent. Is there anything in this deck that Vincent naturally would eventually end up hitting?
I'm taking a look here. I mean, from Nick R's perspective,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Like, a lot of it is just Voltest on blue, but there's no Crystal Skull for you to go ahead and capitalize on. So there's really nothing. You're going to have to put some work in. You might have to pair it up with a lock or a leader ability or potentially a poison. So that is something that you got to kind of think of. Given the fact that,
with no natural Vincent target, it doesn't feel that bad to set it up with the Cupbearer, since you'll need to do that eventually anyways, something. You don't, like, setting it up with a leader is not great because you take away the 3 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Oniro, wait, what was that? Was that
was
Oniromancy into a scout? So he didn't take Amphibious Assault. That's surprising to me.
That is surprising to me because you're not guaranteed to pick that up anyways. I feel like you're going to take that every day of the week.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, it is an additional, what, 4 or 5? It's an additional 5 points, 4 points that you're kind of missing out on. Not that it matters, typically. Oh, you know what it is? It might be that he's keeping that
it's Curse of Corruption.
Curse of Corruption online, exactly, given the fact that there's a 9-point Blightmaker in the back row. If that scout became 9 points, that would have been ugly. Then you're rolling the dice, baby. Now we're playing Gwent.
Now we're playing Gwent, but, like, can Nick R actually win this round? He would have to play Erland now. Well, I mean, he could Curse of Corruption, but then this means that he's done. Like, one more card from Kuku, and Nick R has to pass.
Well, let's see. I mean, what can he scoop with that? There's nothing of value that you're scooping with the Yen's Invocation, but you are going to probably wheel that Coup de Grace onto the Informant to create another Blue Stripe Scout.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like that's
play the Blue Stripe Scout for another 8 points, and then now Nick R is forced to pass. If Nick R had played Erland first, he could have had the option of, you know, playing both cards and forcing out either both cards from Kuku's side, or maybe even winning the round if Kuku decides to pass.
I like that better. Also,
but you would have been winning down 2 cards instead of just down 1 card. But now you're losing on even, so it's a tough situation to be in for Nick, not being able to take the Amphibious Assault because of the potential bricked Curse of Corruption. Maybe he could have considered, like, reversing the order of that, playing the Curse of Corruption first and then playing the Amphibious Assault off of Oniromancy to get the extra points. Not sure if it really would have made a difference at the end of the day, but, you know, the silver lining is that he did manage to copy a lot of commandos. I think there's 6 commandos. Yeah, 6 commandos in the graveyard right now for Nick R.
Now, Big K here, in terms of bleed options, you only got one. You only got one here. If you want to go ahead and drop the location, but I think he's just going to be content saying, "I'll get double last say. You do your thing. I want to keep all of these cards." They could potentially be big news. Depending on what happens here.
All right, so second Oniromancy into first Amphibious Assault to get the Pavetta. Shuffle 6 commandos back into your deck. This is kind of awkward because now you don't have an Oniromancy to get your Roach. You don't have an Oniromancy to get your full test, and you're also potentially top decking into a bunch of commandos that Pavetta randomly shuffled into your deck.
How about just top decking into complete steaming garbage? Now there is at least a commando, so that's not bad, but you're kind of leaving a lot to be desired here. Nick R kind of not exactly too pleased with what is left. No Roche. I'm trying to look at what else there is. No full test. That hasn't happened yet. You know, in terms of big plays, a lot of it has already occurred. You know, Curse of Corruption has already taken place. Roche Merciless not going to happen. Erland is going to be pretty decent. Now, we've seen in the match that Jag and Speci casted is the fact that there was, I mean, a 51-0 deficit at one point or something along those lines, but the Commandos came storming through. It didn't quite break through, but this could be fairly close if those Commandos get buffed with Erland and they can kind of, you know, if the right things happen in the right ways. But the thing about it is that Big KK has a stacked, absolutely stacked lineup. He just needs to find, you just need to find your aristocrats there, bucko.
I mean, almost like 4 out of 7 units left in his deck are aristocrats, so that he has a very good chance of finding them with the Joachim. I don't know if you noticed there, while you were talking, Nick R, on his first turn, immediately discarded the Peller from his hand. He was just threw it away, just wanted to play uninteractive and force Kuku into an uncomfortable position where he has to play proactive plays. But with the Joachim and the Coup de Grace and Gorthar Gavade Cantarella, I think Kuku's going to have a lot of proactive points at the end of the day. You might miss out on some poison value, but proactiveness, I think he will be able to find. And it's going to be a lot of, the commandos are going to be a lot of points. but it could have been like 10 more points with Roach Merciless if he had it.
And I think we go with the Sheep Effer here and just go with that, the Sheep Wrestler. And that's going to probably be enough points over time. But, okay, we're going to go for a little switcheroo.
Yep, and you can see the cards on top of his deck are one of them is an aristocrat, but the other two are not. So you might only get one aristocrat here. He gets the Roach Merciless.
That is massive. that is just information as well. But I mean, if we know. Oh, Nick R is
applauding. Oh, the applause by Nick R. Oh man, the Roach Merciless was the very next card too.
Everybody loves the Alchemist. I don't care what everyone says. Totally fair card. I'm sure Twitch chat is just saying buff that card. Make it 6 points. Why not, man? Why not?
And now that Roach Merciless actually will probably go unanswered and play for 10 points as a top deck off of Joachim. Which is, oh my god, this all of a sudden became really difficult for Nick R. If you thought it was close before, now that the Joachim is getting a 10-pointer,
that's nasty, man. That is just nasty.
Oh my god, Kuku could use location plus Cantarella to play Pavetta.
Absolutely, you can.
Oh my god! I want him to do it. I want to see.
I was about to say. I'm like, I was just waiting for it to happen. The fact is that you could just go drop Pavetta back on, stack it. All that work that Big K did in round 1 of just creating those commandos. Nick R is looking. He's like, how are you playing this better than I'm playing this?
Please, please, Kuku, do it. Do it for the viewers. Yes, there it is. He's doing it. Oh my god, I mean, I think this game was already over, but this is just like rubbing salt on the wound. You can see Kuku can't contain himself, giggling to himself uncontrollably there, playing the Pavetta, putting 3 commandos back into his deck. Oh no, dude, and he has double last say too.
He's got double last say, there's no reason to risk it at all. And now, you yoink that commando because it's extra commandos. Why not? It's just extra commandos at this point. Make it happen.
And then, oh man, oh god, I don't know. this is
it's great, dude. Honestly, like, again, totally awesome gameplay. You know when Nilfgaard's just like, hey, cool commandos, bro. Watch this, and then just smashes you with your own strategy in spectacular fashion. There's Roderick, and yeah, might as well make it work here. Let's just get some extra points. And I don't even think there's any. Is there even any reason to call back your own spies here? I think that everything that you're
not getting answered. Yeah.
I mean, just in case one of the last plays here is another way to clone a commando. Like, what if the last play was like, I don't know.
Please, Nick. I hope Nick doesnnt forfeit. All I hope is that Nick doesn't forfeit, because I want to see these last 2 turns by KukuRUzina. He's got a 35-point lead. Okay, wait, hold on. He's got a 35-point lead, but there's 12 coming back.
That's a 12-point swing.
Operators.
There's 4. Hold on a second. We still got a turn to do some stuff. We do also. Now you do not. I don't think that you want to coup the Joaquin, do you? You wanna scoop the commando first. Clear out all the commando. Scoop the commando, clean out the commandos on the next turn, and then coup the Joaquin. I'm just talking about pure, full-on maximum value here. I'm pretty sure that this is kind of in the bag. You scoop the... Okay, well,
he's already ahead. Yeah, he's already ahead. I mean,
and we're going to do it anyways. Coup de grace one more time. And you know what? He hasn't even used a single leader charge.
I don't think I've ever seen Nilfgaard play Roach and 4, potentially even 5 commandos there if he wanted to. But oh my god, Kuku into it. Game number 4, match point for KukuRUzina. It is the pincer maneuver on blue versus Reckless Flurry on red. All right.
Oh boy. I mean, it's just that last game. That's a classic. That's an instant classic in that regard. I mean, it's gonna make the haters hate and the lovers love when it comes to Nilfgaard, because
very polarizing faction, right? I mean,
come on, man. It's just like, oh,
I mean, you have to appreciate it. It's so fun.
No, but it's my favorite faction. I know that I might get some flack for this. I like monsters up until a point, but to me, I'm a control player at heart. Love playing control. Nilfgaard is just so devious, and I freaking love it.
Nilfgaard has like really creative lines of play that just like stretch the bounds of your imagination. You can kind of do anything with them.
You're so inspiring. That should go on a t-shirt. You can do Nilfgaard. You can do anything. It should just be like, follow the great sun. You can do anything.
All right, Big Kuku with a slow but kind of testing the waters play with the Radovid's Royal Guard, seeing if he can maybe protect something and get something out of range of bomb removal or leader target removal. Not wanting to use that Crystal Skull just yet, doesn't want to play into something like a Heat Wave, but Heat Wave at the same time does want to be reserved for something like Siege down the line.
I think that Crystal Skull is always going to hit that Banard student. We're just going to see where that Maddock goes, which is in the back row, which is not where you want it to be because the Banard student wants to sit nice and tight, real close up front center, front row center. So this might be the follow-up that Big K wants to do here. Again, taking his time. I mean, you're ahead 2-1, so you got some breathing room. You can potentially lose this game, but you don't want to. Obviously, you want to, use the time that is given to you. I don't need to tell you, Shinmiri, about
exactly
about taking your time, but you might as well. If even if the play is so damn obvious and telegraphed, why the next play may not be. So you want to kind of think about what's going on here, as he's going to be using that pincer maneuver right away to go ahead and figure out what he wants. And okay, there's going to be the full test, so we're going to see the potential, the done bananas with the full test in tow, to create a really nasty kind of train here. And again, with the Crystal Skull, you're going to dodge a lot of the scary stuff.
All right, Voltes gets boosted and protected from lock at 10 strength in the opposite row of Maddock, or like on the other row, so that Maddock can't hit it, and immediately gets heat waved by Nick R. So no more heat wave for Siege. BigKukuRUzina gets up from his chair, takes his time. Okay, comes back and just
gets the dog, gets that canine power. Knickers has appeared to support.
Best boy, the moral support, the good luck charm. There we go. And if anybody was wondering why Kuku played full test to the right and missed a point on boosting the token, it's because if there was no heat wave answer for the full test, he would have to play Dunbanner right to the right of full test, and he didn't want that Dunbanner to die and then start copying tokens again. So that's why he gave up that 1 point to prevent that removal option from Nick R on the Dunbanner.
No, very important. Again, that's just thinking ahead over there, especially against a list like Reckless Flurry that can go ahead and just remove what it wants when it wants, for the most part. And interesting board state here. You've got that one soldier token in the front row standing tall, and then you got Maddock in the back row just asking it politely to take a step back, perhaps. But as it stands over here, it's a quite underwhelming board, but there's been a lot of big cards that have been used, right? Like, we've already seen Full Test and Heatwave gone, and this is the remainder. This is the remnants of that that exchange.
Yeah, and I think it was a wise move for Nick to expend the Heat Wave on the Full Test, because if you win this round, you can push Siege out potentially by and then pass against Siege. You don't necessarily need the Heat Wave for Siege. But if you lose this round to the Full Test, you're going to be in a bad position, in my opinion. And the Full Test is going to carry Kuku through this round if unanswered.
This is just the Bear Witcher, right? You slam that down, hang on to everything else. I don't see why you would ever look to do okay.
He's going to go location, I believe.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna see some cards being played next round.
Yeah, he's definitely going to push, right? Because he doesn't have the answer to Siege anymore. So with the location being played in this round, you get the resilience for round 2. And
when is that better than just, if your intention is to play... I mean, I feel like the fact that you can always have another option in your hand and carry that card over to round 3.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
I mean, I feel like if the intention was always to just drop a Bear Witcher, why would you not just drop a Bear Witcher?
It's because he wants to mulligan the Bear Witcher as a target
tutor it.
Quen to tutor, So you can't Quen a location, but if you mulligan the Bear Witcher, you can Quen the Bear Witcher.
Oh, we don't like this. I think he just picked up one of those fish effers.
Yeah, and Nick R wishing he was playing pincer maneuver right about now. Then he could get one of those Bear Witcher Atlas back into the deck for that Avaloq Sage into Portal. But maybe, you know, instead he does have, I think, the Svalbard Totem as an option, as well as a second Megascope if he wants to play Avaloq Sage in this round and just hopefully draw into the Portal naturally in round 3. He does play Maxi. I didn't get a chance to see what the order was. Did you happen to glimpse
at least
where Portal was?
Not.
That was really fast.
It's the thing about it is that the screen typically shows up before the card hits the board, so sometimes it just kind of catches you off guard. You don't know what they're looking at, right? Most of the time, you don't know if it's like a Sage being played sometimes, or what they're picking up. Like for instance, like right now, we know that this is going to be the Amphibious Assault. He's going to go ahead and get the Dun banner that didn't get to, you know, get the work done it may have wanted previously. But you can go ahead and boost this with a Carrack Marine, but Carrack Marine's going to be, you know, dumping a lot of points onto one body, but with the Heat Wave gone, it's not too problematic anymore.
If Nick R wants, he could Hjalmar this. He does have an 8-point Bear Witcher in the graveyard, but, I mean, with Foltest gone, the Dumb Banner isn't that big of a threat. It's representing 3 more points and a Thin. And your Foltest, or your Hjalmar is valuable for other things, like preventing your opponent from greeting Gerhardt or answering a Reinforced Ballista. Looks like he is going to take the Hjalmar here. Get an extra 3 points while sitting. Now, yeah, that's not terrible.
That's it, exactly. It's an 11-point play plus the 3 that it could potentially have meant down the line, plus the thinning. Now you've basically... So that's a 14-point play and a brick now. That's just floating around in Big K's deck. So there are implications for that move moving forward, but I still am kind of on the fence about that earlier play, because... with the location rather than just dropping the bear otherwise, because now you're kind of, this may incentivize you to play into this round more than you may want to.
In order to utilize the order of the location, precisely. You mean?
Now, I'm always the type where it's like, it's one of those situations where, to use an analogy from another game like Overwatch, like, if you want to change characters but you're too married to your ultimate ability, then you're kind of just, you're hurting your team. Like, you have to detach yourself from some of the bonuses when it just doesn't make sense to hang on to what's going on. But if Nick R is just married to the fact that he wants to click the button on that, well, then you have to make sure that those units are going to be damaged, which they probably will be, given the fact that there's a lot of damage. But you have to also hope that those units that get damaged survive, that you can click the button, and that it makes sense to do so. So it's going to be hard if Nick R is going to be looking at this and really married to that play, right? Like, if you're thinking about going into this round because you want to capitalize on that 4 points of heal, I don't know if that's good. Now, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, obviously, because he's a much better player than I am. So he's practiced, he's got this down pat, and I want to see how this shakes out. I want to be proven wrong.
Yeah, and I mean, Nick R, I think his main goal is to try to get the siege out in this round. Kuku doesn't have it in his hand, but he does still have another leader charge to grab it eventually if he feels the pressure in this round. But like, as we know, Nick has a brick in his hand. He's got that oh boy. Uses 2 leader charges, decides not to use the last one to get rid of that Reinforced Ballista, because he probably still needs it for Junod. He's either going to Junod this Ballista, or he's going to save the leader charge to Junod something else like a Gerhardt.
Well, I mean, Big KK just comes back with a Marine and just boosts it back up and saves the day.
Yeah, that looks like the Reinforced Ballista is probably likely to live if he wants to boost it up. But there are other things to consider as well. There's starting to be a big lead from Nick R. So this 7-tempo play might be a little slow. I'm not sure. We'll see. And then we've got the Megascopes now coming down for 10 for 4 provisions. The ultimate payoff for Megascope under that great sword.
Yeah, man, when that card was designed and printed, that was the buddy that it wanted to find. That was the hand it wanted to hold, was that 10-point greatsword. I mean, massive value for 4 points here. And I mean, a 2-turn countdown is fine. Like, that's not excessive. It just means you can't play it last as your last play, right? Now, the other thing worth noting here, Shin, is the fact that that Banard student is just it needs to get established. I mean, you're just losing value on it over and over, especially when you in conjunction with potential casting contest value.
He's going to casting contest the Marine instead for a good 9 points. Could even hold it at 8 strength. It seems pretty safe with Heatwave and Hjalmar both gone. It's not close to being damaged for Junod. So yeah, Kuku makes the decision here, the wise decision, just to hold it and maybe protect something like another reinforced ballista or that student on the same turn that is played.
For sure. And again, if Junod is something that you're worried about, boosting something above it is going to be protecting it for sure, given the fact that it's going to take some work to actually be able to get it into Junod range. If you're pumping in damage to a unit to get it to a point where you can kill it, feels like you're just wasting some of that space. Like Junod is, I don't want to say it's a hit or miss card, but it can really punish in the mirror. But I find it kind of falls flat against certain decks that just like to boost and preserve their units and their engines. Because Junod against a greatsword at that just hits the board is fantastic, but a Junod against a boosted Carrack Marine, a ballista, it kind of feels like you're leaving a little on the table there.
And there's always the weakness of like having a lot of reliance on the random Reckless Flurry leader charge to find the target. Even if the Gerhardt does get played here at some point, Nick R's leader charge with 1 left, it could miss the Gerhardt, and Junod could end up having to take a 1 or even nothing.
I mean, at what point is that Gerhardt just going to go ahead and squash that Siren? Like, that could be just the only way that it goes. Because if you're going to... Okay, there's the pass. I do like that pass. You've seen both reinforced ballistas. I think that's or you saw the one that was cloned, I believe.
Yeah.
And then that one. So you're no longer have to face off against what could be just an onslaught of these ballista pings over and over.
Oh, but Hubert to the rescue! These reinforced ballistas are super good at getting the counter of Hubert down quickly. And Hubert coming with the extra 5 points is really going to rescue the day here. Kuku could even play and get rid of this Banard student.
Banard will tick up to 2. I mean, you drop the Banard student, right? I mean, he's got to take, and then you're ahead.
Yeah, and you get to preserve your 2 siege engines for the siege in round 3, which has no answer, by the way, because Heatwave was played on full test in round 1, and you have the pincer maneuver leader charge to always get the siege for you.
Yeah, Nick R here is, I mean, it's a tough go. It's a tough go here for Nick R, given the fact that, well, you expended that Heatwave on full test with, I guess, the plan that you're hoping to go ahead and answer siege, like you said, Shinmiri, by bleeding it out. It didn't even have siege at all in his hand. Big KK didn't even have it, so it never wasn't even an option. But Nick R now is going into the round 3 saying, all right, it's going to be a long round. Big K gets first action. I have not seen siege. I do not have my Heatwave. So I'm going to rely on one hell of some I'm going to rely on my wits and my guile, to get me through this. But Big KK's hand, even though we're seeing a little bit of garbage, you do have one more wheel on your pincer maneuver.
Yeah, but despite playing pincer maneuver, BigKukuRUzina is going to miss one of siege or Shawnee. I'm assuming he's probably going to take the siege now that the Heatwave is gone. Shawnee would have been really nice, though, to also have in the hand, as she's just a 12-point play. She's potentially a threat herself, especially with the existence of Winch in that deck. Winch, the second to rightmost card in Kuku's hand right now.
Maybe he does
can reduce the cooldown.
I mean, it feels bad, but I'm just trying to think of if there's any scenario where you would. I mean, you got the 2 Warfare cards in your hand. You're going to get rid of...
you get sort of boiling oil.
Boiling oil?
Yeah. Like, I don't think you get the Shawnee here. I think if the opponent had Heatwave still available to them, I think you would maybe get the Shawnee. But without the Heatwave as an answer, siege is just more points, most likely, and the Shawnee still always has the chance of dying before you can winch it.
I think we got to slam the portal in the back row. Hopefully that that armor that's generated is going to gobble up some of those trebuchet pings. And,
exactly.
I mean, Nick R still's got some firepower here. That portal, the totem, the Quen, you know, you do have a, I mean, less than ideal Mega Scope, but an 8 for 4 is nothing to shake your fist at. You got one more wheel with your Flurry and Junod. So we'll see what happens here. This might be a situation, I think, where you have to take the chance with your Flurry ping and maybe get rid of one of these. Oh, maybe. Okay, that works too. Oh, and now you're gonna go for it.
Oh, and Nick R misses!
I'm sorry, Nick. I feel responsible. That happens to me all the time. God damn you, Reckless Flurry.
Oh, Nick R with the expression of what just happened. What the hell? The Reckless Flurry, unreliable in this situation. Hits all 3 other units. So, I mean, at least the good news is he does have a Junod target, right? Well, he's going to be able to Junod one of these siege engines.
Yeah. Now, what Witchers are left in the deck that he can tutor? Does he have another Bear Witcher in there? I think he does. So he can actually clean out both other siege engines if necessary with one Bear Witcher. Then the Junod can maybe come through and kill the Trebuchet. I think that's a fair thing that you do, like maybe right now. I think that you have to go ahead and maybe take that out.
Here comes the Gerhardt into teleport, perhaps?
Oh, that is going to go in.
The extra siege engine? Nope.
Yeah, he's just going to protect it.
Okay, just to protect it. It's fine. And you still have Voltes Pride as the second siege engine to activate siege, and you can AA into, I believe, a Radovid's Royal Guard is the last soldier, as well as the Dun Banner, which is a brick. But Radovid's Royal Guard in the melee row, if that volunteer survives, you can make that pocket, yeah.
I don't think the volunteer survives. I think Nick R is going to try to roll the dice again, and hopefully, maybe his Maddock is a little bit better.
On the Maddock, okay.
On the Maddock. I mean, you roll the dice, and hopefully, okay, so the situation is here, you either kill the soldier and break up that pocket, or...
He doesn't click the Maddock,
doing it, because you could have killed the... You could have killed...
He doesn't have to do it this turn.
No, but Kuku can go ahead and stack stuff in the front row to reduce the odds.
Yeah, that's true. That is
because
true.
In my mind, I'm thinking it's. I don't want to say it's win-win, but you either kill the battering ram, which reduces the bombardment and reduces the battering ram from coming back to swing at you, or you take care of the soldier, which breaks up the potential pocket for that.
Yeah, but I think Nick R, maybe his plan is to Bear Witcher the battering ram. And if he Bear Witchers the battering ram, then he doesn't want to hit it with 2 Maddock charges, or the two of the 3 Maddock pings, and have it at only a 1. It becomes a lot more awkward well, now he doesn't have the chance to anymore. With the Zeal on the Radovid's Royal Guard, protects the battering ram, and then now you can winch the battering ram or winch the Voltes Pride.
And now it's going to be really, it's a bigger risk here, given the fact that your Maddock might miss the soldier, or it might just eat up the armor. He might have to wait for that battering ram to...
Yeah. Nick has already passed. He's waiting, and now the Voltes Pride can come down, and it's a little bit too late for the Maddock to try to kill this volunteer. So, I mean, these are a lot of points that are going the way of KukuRUzina. Small micro points and decisions like that. You know, the reinforced ballista surviving, and the battering ram surviving, and the soldier volunteer surviving as well.
Oh. So that bombardment could have been a disaster in the sense that it could have potentially flipped some of those fanatics, but the fanatics eating it the way they did actually is saving a few points for Nick here.
Yeah, not too bad of a bombardment. There were a lot of bad targets, like the fish flappers, the fanatics. So Kuku has to be kind of satisfied with that bombardment, and we get a pretty muted 7-point megascope.
7 points, 7 points, so 4 for 7.
What is nice about it is that there's nothing to hit now. You're getting rid of 1 turn of interaction for KukuRUzina. Your ballista doesn't want to hit anything. Your Baron has almost nothing to reset. Can reset that soldier if you want. Oh, I guess actually,
you could set up corrected. Yeah, you could. Well, you could set up.
I stand corrected. you can hit the weakened or the already damaged Bear Witcher Adept because it doesn't have enough time to heal to the full 7. So hitting it actually is gaining you 1 point. Here comes the Bear Witcher now, and then hits the Baron, doesn't allow it to reset anything. We've got good positioning by Nick R, honestly. No way to get like multiple units of value with the Foltest Pride, needing, hitting 3 adjacent units. Everything separated by these artifacts and armor. Foltest Pride is only really going to do 2 points of damage here.
That's tough. This is closer than it looks. I mean, again, like you said, the positioning has been exquisite. It has been masterful. Nick R has really done some excellent work here. Given the fact, keep in mind that those fish flappers are going to come back with some...
This is a big lead. This is a big lead. 21 points. This Quen and flipping the Fanatics is... I don't think it's going to be enough. Quen is only 13.
Doesn't look like it, Shinmiri. No, even with that massive play of a Geralt Quen into
close.
A Bear Witcher.
It's actually super close.
It's
he gets
very
his heal
close
as well.
Hold on a second.
This came down to all the micro decisions. It is 2 points. A 2-point game decides it here. BigKukuRUzina wins this third quarterfinal of the day, 3-1 over Nick R.
Oh boy, that was a very intense matchup, and
very happy with himself.
I mean, if you are...
All right, I am here with BigKukuRUzina and Hester, of course, standing by with the translation. Congratulations, man, you did it. You did it. So many crazy, awesome plays. Congrats. How you feeling after that one?
Поздравляем, это было реально очень безумно, очень много клевых, безумных ходов. Но скажи нам, как себя чувствуешь после всего этого?
Ну, чувствую себя прекрасно. Я, в принципе, именно вот ровно на такой исход и рассчитывал, на 3-1, где у него выигрывает Синдикат. Ну и все получилось.
I actually feel really great. I was counting on winning 3-1 and winning against Syndicate, and everything went well, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, super well played. Important question, what's the name of your dog behind you? Because that's what intrigued me the most.
Как зовут твою собаку?
Перси.
What was it?
Перси.
Percy?
No. Перси. Like this.
Or just dog?
No, Percy.
Ah, okay. Hester, you didn't translate. What's up? Are you there?
Yeah. It's just the name, you know.
Just the name.
You don't have to translate it.
Okay. I thought it meant something more, but I didn't know. My bad. All right. Last question. Who would you like to play against tomorrow?
Кем бы ты хотел завтра сыграть?
Ну, честно говоря, без разницы. Я готов победить любого.
Well, to be honest, actually, it doesn't, matter. I can win against anyone.
Nice. I love the confidence. I love the emotion. Awesome stuff. Congratulations once again. I'll let you rest. And,